Hi, Andrew.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. So we were talking last time about chatting a little bit more about the fundraising ideas. If you could leave it open for a few minutes for us.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry I couldn't make it today. I
See how
just
you are?
said, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear Roy?
I cannot hear Roy.
That's because I haven't said anything.
Oh, okay.
And Amy's here.
And Amy's
I'm
here.
here.
Okay.
All right.
So one of the things we were discussing last time um, was the idea of having like a March, April, and May event, or just saving it for a big event in May. And this is the idea of doing a couple of different kinds of virtual Zoom experiences. And Alex was actually a driving force. She had a couple of outside the box ideas that were really good. But I didn't text her and ask her to stay this time. But Amy, Roy, have you guys had any more thoughts that you developed over the last week while we were ruminating on this?
No, I'm sorry, Roy.
Yeah, go ahead, Amy. No problem.
I think that the 5 that we presented is sufficient to choose on. I think the more that we have, the more difficult it is to try to present it virtually. Now, my question right now is the presentation that Vaughn gave, is that going to be in conflict or reduce the amount of money coming in from sponsors if we have a dual event?
What event is it that you're thinking that I'm doing a dual event?
I think she's talking about and I don't think there's a conflict, the Escondido rebirth.
Oh, the renewal?
Renewal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy, the renewal is not one that's based in Rotary.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
going out to organizations such as the Escondido Community Foundation,
Oh, okay.
different organizations, Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, so it's
Sure.
not drawing on sponsors or anything
No,
that, and
no.
okay, well, that would be perfect. Now,
Yeah.
do you think 2 in the year would be too large, or do you think it'll require a different social media for it? Your event will require a different social media and not obstruct the event of a possibility of another event at this time?
My event is not an event. It's an invitation for different organizations to, with the events they've already got planned,
Oh, okay.
to just label those as
Okay.
an Escondido Shines, Escondido Renewal opportunity. And the only common advertisement that's going to be done is there will be a marketing approach branding the Escondido Renewal
Okay.
as a period of time in the community where people are invited to be more involved, to come out and support their organization. Or, for example, we'll have a cleanup day in the park like we usually do on
Okay.
April the 24th. The chamber will have some events that they have for the businesses, and those businesses will be doing things to improve their business front exposure. Or so
Okay.
it's really more of an activity that will be spreading through the community over 3 or 4 months on an off and on basis. And so it's not going to dilute whatever else is going on. It's going to, if anything, encourage people to get out and find ways to celebrate, regardless of where they can find them. It's an invitation to be involved in the community and whatever things there may be that are going on that are of interest.
It sounds wonderful, Vaughn. Thank you for organizing and
Yeah,
promoting such a
that,
positive
I think
thing.
that'll be great, Vaughn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Roy, did you want to tell us what thoughts you had over the course of the week?
Well, we at the board meeting we discussed today. We try to the consensus among the board is we need to get some fundraising going one way or the other, and the consensus of the board is we want to try to see some money sooner rather than later. So we're going to go ahead and put out a letter to the full membership of the Rotary Club explaining the unusual circumstances again this year and the uncertainty of what kind of events are really can happen, and asking for people to contribute their usual amount of money. Now, in that letter, we're going to say these events could happen, and that would fall into the realm of these events that Amy is talking about. That'll be fine, but the letter is essentially going to be saying
Okay,
it's an unusual year again, and we're asking for money. Also, I know Alex put out those letters to just people in the community, 500 letters, and it's been about 3 or 4 weeks. We got zero response from that. And remember last year I did about outreach to about 40 companies, corporations in the Escondido area, and we didn't get any response from that for last year's Quarter Cuisine. So the idea now for fundraising efforts is to go to more of a networking approach rather than a cold call approach.
Okay.
Networking meaning that we're going to send out the names of all these companies that I have. I'm going to try to expand the list up to about 50 to all the members of the club, and saying, do you know anybody in these companies that you, as both a Rotary member and a personal associate of the principals of these companies, can you talk to them about our fundraising needs?
That
And then all
sounds
that
smart.
letter will also say, if you don't know anybody in these 50, let's say 50 or so companies, do you know any other companies you can just reach out to because you know
okay.
people there? So that's more of a networking approach, and that's what we're going to start as of what we decided on today.
Roy, I think
Yeah.
that's a great idea. I do think that the personal involvement, or, like I initially did at CORE, is I went and talked to them, gave them the, ideas, and got a rapport with the owner, as well as, like, let's take the Delight of France. I went in and explained the idea, and then left them in papers that if they were willing to partake of it. So I set up an appointment. Now that's time consuming, but it was very effectual. So I think with the COVID that we're limited, in doing this, I think that those that know people personally in businesses, to personally contact them and say, this is our idea. Would you be willing to sponsor us this year in this event?
That's right. That's exactly right. Because my viewpoint continues to be that we can ask the Rotary membership for the usual amount of money again, but I think we got to offer up something more than just going back to them and saying, pay us again.
That's right.
And the idea that if we're not going to have an event as payback, we give them the opportunity to join the effort to bring in money from other sources. So the Rotary membership doesn't feel so individually put upon to raise all the money. Give them the opportunity to expand their efforts to raise some money as well.
Yeah.
Right. I
But,
think,
oh,
go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just thinking if we're inviting Rotarians to look at this list that you're going to prepare, Roy,
Yeah.
and see if there are companies or individuals, either that they know, or it may trigger another company when they look at those.
That's right.
They know. Wouldn't it be nice to have a promotional packet that is
Yes,
dated
that's
this year?
what we did, Vaughn. That's
So
what we
we
did
need to give
before.
something to have them use in their hand when they make the contact that says 2021, these are the charities that are going to be supported. This is where the value of your money is going to show up. And we can even do that with the theme that they're going to see in promotions for the community of Escondido Renewal. Here's a way that you can participate in Escondido Renewal by making a donation to the Rotary, who is one of the sponsors of Escondido Renewal, making a donation as part of your effort for the city to come awake. And so we tie those two things together. They see our promotional item from the Rotary Club on what we support charity-wise. And then they're going to see that the whole community is being encouraged to come alive and be involved. And so this is just another technique.
Yeah, I agree,
Vaughn?
I agree with
Oh,
that
excuse
completely,
me.
Vaughn. In fact, back during the board meeting, I mentioned that when we do this outreach to companies, we need something more visual brochure to trigger their interest. And
That's right.
I agree, we should put that, and even would make that offer, make that available to the Rotary members, like Vaughn, you just said, if they're going to approach companies that individual members might know.
What we did, Roy and Vaughn, was we set up a packet initial, and we had everything in it, explaining what Rotary was, what was our purpose, what was the purpose of the fundraiser, and we presented it. Linda, there was the initial start of it was in 2002 in September. We would start at Dick Daniels, and with the group that were there, we formulated this packet, and it had a heart on it, and we brought it. I think, if I can recall, it was either a white clear packet with a red heart on it, and then we had all the info on it. There was a box that was going around.
I have the
And
box.
do you have the box?
Yeah,
Is
and-
there a copy of that in there?
I think there is. This is a good idea, Roy. You could, in making this packet up, let them know that this is not a new thing. That
That's
this
right.
is going on since 2002, and maybe in a very concise way, say the core event, which has been our previous fundraiser, which is now blocked by COVID, has over the past 20 years produced million plus dollars that have helped our community. This year, we have to turn to you without being able to offer what we've done in the past 19 years of COVID activity. I mean, of core activity, but we still want to support these charities. And so if you had just one, maybe if you look through this box, you'll see all the previous promotional materials. Maybe it'll trigger some thoughts that you could use that would be a very concise summary of previous core events and why they were held and why they were successful and why we're struggling this year to, without a core event, still support our local charities. That's
Also, Vaughn, if we can, okay.
huh?
How do I get my hands on the contents of these previous boxes?
Well, it's sitting in my garage.
Oh, Vaughn, that should be in a private safe.
It is. It's in a safe in my garage.
What we could say too is one of the tags is core goes virtual, and or tour is exploring the modern technology, some kind of caption that would let it know that we're not dropping core de cuisine, but we're adding an adjunct to it.
Well, I do think it's important for people when they are invited to know that this is not a new thing.
That's right. That's right.
This has got a rich heritage of success in the past. They should feel comfortable that they're donating to something that has already proven itself, and that Rotary is the top charity listed on the evaluations of all the charities in the world. Anyway, I could go through that, Roy, if you want to get together sometime. I can show you the box, and I can show
That'd be
you.
fine. I don't mind coming over. You can hand it off to me and I can use that material as to spark some ideas.
Yeah, I think that would help.
And you know what, we can, if it is included to all of us, if we can find a way that we can include it to all of us, I think it would be very advantageous. And then maybe by people, all of those who are on the committee can see it, then they can get some ideas.
Yeah, we could have a party in the park
Yeah,
and invite Rotarians to come to Carson for kind of like we had talked about, some kind of a social event
that's right.
So
where we're keeping distancing, but then give the pitch, Roy, of what you're suggesting, and then hand out this little packet to those who are
That's
willing
it.
to go
Excellent
out
idea.
and help. Just an idea. So
so
you name it. I'm here. I'm going out of town on the 8th for 10 days. So the sooner I would be glad to convey the box with all of its history.
You said you're going out of town on the 8th. The 8th was yesterday.
The 18th.
18th, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we at least maybe let's you and I get together later this week, maybe Thursday, if you could give you
Thursday would be best for me. I'm going to
Okay.
be out of town tomorrow, but Thursday, do you want to just pick a time?
Yeah, I might have a meeting on Thursday. Can I let you know tomorrow what time on
Sure.
Thursday would be best?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Do you, Roy, do you prefer to go through it alone, or would you like any of us to be part of it? Or
Well-
after you, go ahead.
At the board meeting today, they said that we got to try to move
Pretty fast,
it fast. And
yeah.
I don't want to try to wordsmith a document in a group. My whole life, I've been in those.
Okay, well then,
And so
I totally trust you in
I think
making the
we try to
decision.
do a rough draft. I prepared marketing materials before for,
Okay,
private
Yeah.
private enterprise sales efforts. So-
okay,
I think I can get him
I don't
up.
want to do the full graphics design myself. So maybe rough something out. And then if we all like it, then we'll turn it over to like a graphics design company to do the brochure.
great.
So what you were just saying about this idea of having like something at the park, I like the direction this is going, and I don't want to derail it right now. I think, but if we get back to the idea of trying to go along with Amy's original ideas, or she had this idea of the cooking demonstration and the chocolatier and all these other things. One of the things I was thinking about would be splitting it up into several events that we could virtually kind of have, like, go through the different events. So like, for example, we could have like a chef's table venue location, and like a chocolatier's table venue location, and a vintner's bar like venue location, and just kind of like have like small outdoor groups that were connecting to each other on Zoom. And but that sounds like a bigger, more in person and
Yes.
involvement than it's currently kind of like aiming towards. So I'm gonna ruminate on that idea and just kind of keep it in my back pocket for if things open up and we want to try and get like actual physical people together doing things.
So Colleen, on these Zoom-based virtual events,
Mhm.
my plan is to, if you want to volunteer, that would be great. But my plan is not to try to head up the production content of these virtual events. I want somebody else to head up the content of these virtual events. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we had to keep a couple ideas, but but it sounds like something like based on the board meeting and Vaughn's things and what you guys were just discussing, it feels like we shouldn't necessarily start putting our energy into doing something like that right away. Because number one, because we have this new line of working with the networking and the kind of person to person involvement. And we have to kind of wait for the more restrictions to be lifted, because right now we're it's at outdoors only, really 25% capacity venues, and to do something grand we need at least 3 venues where we would be able to have small groups and kind of cycle through them on a Zoom thing. And it would be really complicated and hard. I can keep working on the idea, but it doesn't necessarily seem like we're going in that direction just yet.
Yeah, I agree. We discussed that. Somebody asked me straight up at the board meeting, what's my view of actually having a physical event? And I said,
Right.
it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right now, the governor keeps moving the goalposts of what you can do, and they keep flip flopping. And then you've got a population that has been psychologically traumatized by this, and even blow the whistle that everybody can come outside. A lot of people are just, I think for some people are going to be psychologically scarred forever from this.
Yes,
from this
I
thing.
agree with you,
And they're not going to want to come outside for months, even after everybody says it's okay. So those reasons, I said it's not a physical event's not going to happen.
But one of the things I was thinking though, in terms of instead of like trying to do an alternative, I was wondering. I remember last year, Vaughn, you were producing a series of videos.
Yeah.
Did those ever actually manage to get into production? Could you kind of refresh me on how that went?
Yeah, I talked to David Zamoya in the fall this last year and asked him how much progress he had made. And he had some startings in place, but had not finished it. He still owes us a video, and he acknowledges that. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how the video would be particularly helpful if we use our members to go out and encourage donations in a personal one-on-one basis. I think the brochure or the packet that Amy was talking about is going to be more practical. When I was promoting major involvement among all of the members, I was getting maybe 1 in 10, 1 in 20 that were willing to do that. It seems like the mentality in the club is just not up to taking on the initiative of going out and finding somebody that they can ask for money.
Right.
But I think we could get at least 10 or 20 out of our club of 110 that would say, yeah, give me the packet, show me the names of the companies that you've already identified, and let me see if I can think of a company that is a good friend that I can go to and say, here, take a look at this packet. It's been around for 20 years. This is how we raise money and support charities. People are in a difficult situation to donate this year because there's so many things to donate to, but yet there's no exposure and interactions that allow us a comfortable way to be personally involved in the donation. Here we are coming personally and inviting you to donate to our local charities. Here's the packet. This is why it's of value. This is tradition. And so, yeah, to me, that's a long speech to make one point that I think we're not going to get a whole bunch of involvement out of our club members.
Yeah, I think I see where you're coming from, and I think it's you're knowing your audience and what you can expect from people, right? Especially with the circumstances that we're all in.
With my experience with Escondido, that's why I came up with a culinary extravaganza and not a wine tasting, because it would dilute the amount of people, because they're not going to spend the amount of money that they did to just do a wine and cheese tasting. So that's why I came up with that idea. And I think that we can expound on that by thinking of like do a group thing that we get ideas of tricky words or words that will entice the people that they want to come or want
Yeah.
to participate virtually.
I think this is, like I said, I think this is a good directing of energy. And once you guys meet, go over the packets. So that's going to be on the 18th.
No, I don't. Roy and I are gonna go over this Thursday.
Okay.
I'm gonna educate him on the box of 20 years of history,
Okay.
and then he come up with ideas for preparing a packet. And
Okay.
then it sounds like he may get somebody who's going to be graphically professional in putting this together.
Together.
And then at that point in time, I think we need to decide, should we have a party down at the park where we invite the whole club, but we know we're only going to get about 20 people.
Right. So
And
what if we reconvene on the 23rd or the 2nd of March, and get Roy's feedback on the history lesson and the potential for finding somebody to do the graphics, and then decide the next step after that in terms of, do we do it as a distribution in a park? Where are we going to do this? What's our plan for bringing it out to people?
I think that the 23rd would be good, and we can, within ourselves, brainstorm of what other places or sponsors that we can get so that we can add to the names of the original list that we have from last Cours de Cuisine.
I like it.
Yeah, I think you should get together before. I have my meeting with the Escondido Renewal organizations, which are all of these, chamber, downtown business, all these different organizations that are going to promote this coming out in the community. That's on the first. If you guys could meet, I'm out of town until the 28th of February.
Okay.
So if you could get together and have the details of this packet,
Okay.
and talk about who are the candidates and how do we get this packet out to them. Start there, and then we could meet on the 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the Rotary meeting Tuesday.
Yeah.
So if we could just hang on and talk after the Rotary meeting and decide what type of challenges we're going to have to get people convinced that they need to be involved. Now, maybe we want to have it before that meeting. I don't know.
Okay. Well, no, I think the 2nd is good.
Juan, you leave on the 18th. When do you get back again?
I get back on the 28th.
28th. Okay.
Yeah.
So is the 2nd okay with everybody?
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Amy? Good?
Yes,
Okay.
that'll be fine.
Let's talk then. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Juan,
All right.
I'll give you a call tomorrow, Wednesday, and we'll coordinate the time to meet in your garage, and you can hand over the materials, and I'll start putting some words on paper to get some ideas for the packet.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I think, Roy, you'll like what the packet contains because it was done real well. We had someone work with it, and I think what it needs to be is just make some alterations or adjust, changes in it.
Okay.
Colleen, it occurred to me that we could print, we could have, I don't know, 15 or 20 of last year's brochure that you built.
The program?
Yeah, it's such a masterpiece. And we could say, we could show on this would have happened but for COVID.
That would be good.
And that
would be
would
good.
wake them up, and they could see. I mean, that's a beautiful work of art. It's already been done.
Maybe we could ask Andrew to print it.
Did you? Hey, Yeah, Colleen, do you still have examples from last year's 2020's brochure?
I still have the proof. I sent it
Yeah,
to Vaughn not long ago.
Yeah, I've got a copy as well, and it's digital. We could send it out to the club members even if we wanted to.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the beginners, either Ron or Colleen, can you email that over to me and I'll take a look at it to help spark some beginning ideas in my mind?
Let me see. I'm going and looking for Vaughn, my last message sent to him. I think.
Yeah, I think the more, Roy, the more I think about what would be in a packet, we never did get our value out of that. Colleen did such a marvelous job, and I've seen it and she's seen it, and that's about it.
Okay.
And so if we had that as part of the donor invitation, here's what
that would be,
could have happened last year, but for COVID. But
yeah, that's a good caption.
we want to do the same thing this year. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have the event, but you can see what it's all about. Here are all of the charities. Here are the people involved. This is 20 years worth of efforts. I think you could make a nice little sales pitch out of that. Anyway, I'll see you Thursday.
Vaughn, will you send, or Colleen, would you send that picture to me too, so I can see the ideas, and maybe we can, between all of us, do some brainstorming. But I love, Vaughn, your idea that you're mentioning COVID, so that we are aware of the monies and everything, and we're willing to make, we're going to do an addendum to it.
Yeah,
All right.
one last point. I think if we look at this in a different perspective, which you just kind of raised in me, there are people who will actually feel good about donating this year.
Yes.
Because it's destroyed businesses, it's done all kinds of things. And here is a way to make an impact in our own community. And we're going to help make that happen.
All right, I just sent it to everybody.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's the brochure from last
Yeah,
year.
so it's an email I got from the printer. It just has a link to the proof
Okay.
that's on it. And yeah, it looked amazing. It would have been nice to get it in
It's a
print.
masterpiece, Colleen. I nominated you for a Nobel Peace Prize, but
Oh, thank you. It was fun to work on. It was nice to be able to physically contribute something that would last. But of course, it never actually became physical.
I just want. Okay, go. I'm sorry.
Well,
last thing.
I think it's a good way to use it now.
Yeah, definitely.
One last thing. When we were wearing pins that were necessary or less, or you would get fined. If I can bring it close up to my screen, I don't know if I can show it. It is Tom Knight presented that, and it's in the shape of a heart.
Aww.
Surrounded by diamonds, and then the background is a red. Cute. And it was really nice, and that idea could come too in something that we do as a graph of things.
Yes, definitely.
All right.
I'll try to put it on black or something that you can have, and try to zoom in on it by itself, and I'll send it out to people.
Okay. I just emailed you all, and we're going to reconvene on the 2nd. Thanks for sticking around and having this conversation. It was needed. Okay.
Well, I really appreciate our doing something. I'm filled with my vitamin B12 shot, and I'm ready to go.
Send one my way.
You look great, Amy.
All right, bye, everybody.
I'm dropping off, so good luck to everyone.
Okay.
I will
have a wonderful trip
on the 2nd.
Ron.
See you guys later.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Okay, bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. See ya.
See you, Roy.
Okay, thanks, Amy. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, take care.